Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Dougie Fresh. Doug, no sandwiches today. Quite unfortunate. Pirates lose 2-1 to the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah. First, I have to apologize to Hayden that I'm not Neil. I always feel obligated to do that. And I suggest that, Hayden, you go back and watch one of Neil's greatest hit shows. We've done this podcast 37 times this season. Pirates pitch well, they couldn't hit. So Neil has covered that extensively. So instead of looking at my ugly mug, still watch a North Shore 9 postgame show, just maybe not the one I'm on.
Yeah, this wasn't a pretty win, that's for sure. I don't know what really was going on, but I mean, Bailey Falter started today. He looked pretty good, but the offense just wasn't existent. And again, Pirates lose 2-1. But before we get any further, of course, let me inform you all that BetOnline is your number one source for NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, that is BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. You sound like you want to get right into the offense. Is that what you want to do today?
Well, I'd love to get into the offense, but it's non-existent. So, and know, it just right. I mean, there's just not much to say about it, I'm afraid. Brian Reynolds is still hot. 347 lifetime batting average in June, which is the best in the history of Major League Baseball. I mean, that's something, but like any other of our offensive performances, it's somewhat wasted because nobody else around him can hit. I just kept, every time Stevenson has come up in the past two games, I thought, and I guess this is just how pathetic I feel about this team. It's like, man, we could use a guy like Stevenson, a completely nondescript average player. He would look so much better than, six of the guys that we have. And then I'm looking at Jonathan India. His OPS is 588, but for some reason he looks better to me than it's frustrating. It's just
India's at a 684. India's actually having a pretty decent season.
Okay, I'm sorry, I looked at it.
And lately it's come up.
It was 688, I think, when I looked
at it. But regardless, the sentiment is correct.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying. It's just
right.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, you're right. India sucks, and that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at players that suck and think, oh yeah, we could use him. So I mean, that's the problem, because our guys don't just suck. I mean, they passed suck 3 weeks ago, and I don't know what it is now. I mean, what else? It's kind of like, the opposite of talking about Skeens. We've run out of adjectives for Skeens. We've run out of superlatives. And it's the same thing with our offense, just the other direction. I can't add anything original to it. Our offense sucks. The roster construction is awful. And we just don't have major league hitters. We can't run a lineup out of major league hitters, and we're just wasting really solid pitching. And it's shameful because, the past couple of years of this rebuild, we didn't have hitters or pitchers. So you couldn't focus so much on this one area, but now it's clearly the offense that is the problem with this lack of fundamentals. But more than anything else,
there's a couple things still. There's a couple than just the offense, but the offense certainly exposes a lot. And I think a lot of it is to do, like, today is a great example of it. It's very top heavy. I mean, the game starts out 1-2-3. I mean, Nick Lodolo actually pitched a very good game. He is a very good pitcher. I mean, his ERA now for the season is at a 2.76, but he goes 7 strong, only 4 hits, the 1 earned run, which was the homer we're talking about. But yeah, like 8 strikeouts. I mean, that's the problem with the Pirates. I mean, you look at the top of the lineup. Andrew McCutchen, 1 for 3 with a walk, right? You mentioned about Brian Reynolds. He was 2 for 4 today. At one point, Andrew McCutchen was on third. Brian Reynolds was on second. You had guys in scoring position. That was the only time today that a sole runner was in scoring position.
Was that in the first inning, or was it? I mean, it was early.
Third.
Okay, it was really early, right? It was the only kind of threat that we had yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen that. We've seen those two guys
get that double.
Right. We've seen that. We've seen that exact scenario. It seems like 1,000 times. Those two guys on base, maybe with 1 out or no outs, and that's where they stay. Right? They go from there back out to the field. They never get to cross home. So,
yeah.
Oh, and that's Jim what just happened. Put out there that Willie Mays died. Sorry.
Oh no.
For my money, the greatest player of all time. So, anyway, that really ruins it.
Yeah. But yeah, Doug. Yeah. Again, Kutch gets on, which, by the way, he's now at a 115 weighted runs created plus for the year. And then, Brian Reynolds gets a double. Connor Joe comes up, and Connor Joe's been struggling. And I feel like there's going to be a subset of people that, Connor Joe, badmouth Connor Joe. And you talk about like getting one of those people that's just a normie that comes up and does his job. Like, that's what Connor Joe is. I think we've been seeing a lot more of him lately. And again, like I've been teetering, like, is maybe Connor Joe an everyday player? Because he's been doing this for quite some time. You go like back to last year. I think he's best served as not. And I think, again, like, we are once again witnessing why Connor Joe just isn't an everyday player. He is struggling right now. But of course, he's been put in a position where he has to once again be an everyday player because you just have incompetent pieces around him. So are you going to have Rowdy Tellez in there, who's been playing awful, which, by the way, I know in June he hasn't. So maybe there's reason why Connor Joe can take some days off now.
Right.
But, and then you have the right field situation, which is just pathetic all around outside of Connor Joe. So it's like he's being a little bit overused now. And he strikes out. The one time he had runners in the scoring position, where they went 0 for 1 today, and that was the opportunity.
Yeah, Connor Joe, if you remember, he did the exact same thing last year. He had a really solid start, disappeared he sort of disappeared with the rest of the offense last year when we went into that terrible swoon, until about the middle of, from May to the middle of July. And then he turned it on again. So hopefully that will come. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's proven that, like, he is a solid bench player. It's exactly the kind of guy you want on your bench, not starting every day. Maybe they can find a way to give him. You're right. I mean, he's still a better option. And again, we get back to the core problem of this team. Him in a terrible slump is a better option than most of what we have put out there. Except Rowdy's doing well, so maybe, ride it while we can before it disappears.
That's where I'm at. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last with Rowdy. I don't know how much I trust it. But at this present time, it's here. Connor Joe is struggling. So use it. Use it while it's here. Yeah. Because Connor Joe can absolutely take a little breather here and there once in a while. But just going down the list, right? So Connor Joe does go 0 for 3 today. And again, like that was your one time you had a guy in scoring position. Nick Gonzalez goes 0 for 4 today, 2 strikeouts. Olivares goes 0 for 2. Trillo goes 0 for 3. Michael A. Taylor goes 0 for 3, which, by the way, though, not to totally harp on him, right. He was robbed of a home run today, which could have been a pretty damn important because they lost 2-1. It could have been a tied ball game had he not been robbed. Great catch. Just, it sucks. Just
baseball
visions of Kutch being robbed at the same spot in PNC Park about a month ago.
Yeah,
twice in 1 week.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, he crushed it. It was a great catch. That's part of it sometimes.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets a flare single tomorrow that has no business dropping in or something. So
right. But what I found interesting too was Reynolds just missed one almost identical. I feel like Taylor's just had a little more loft to it, right? Reynolds was what, maybe a foot away from robbing a Red as well. That ended up for a home run, which I could look at it. Who was it? Oh, Espinal. Yeah, Espinal hit a home run, which kind of like a wall scraper, is about 2 feet deep. I feel like the broadcast could not stop talking about it.
Right. Yeah, they were pretty enthused, but yeah. Right. I mean, there wasn't much to talk about in this game, So, it was close. It was close.
Yeah.
But again, it's those little things that are the difference in the game. And when you're, 6 through 9 or 5 through 9 or 0 for 72, these things easily get magnified. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Again, 4 hits, and 2 of them were from Brian Reynolds. He had half the hits on the team, which again, he's been hot. He has been hot, but one guy can't truly carry a team.
Can't carry base. Right. And one guy
unless they're getting home runs at that rate, which the batting average is there. I'm not expecting, he can't go on like a Cruz type of tear where it's like, okay, or even a Jack Swinski type of tear where he's going to hit 7 home runs in, like a 10 or 15 day span.
Yeah.
But
that's
he's doing everything he needs to do to keep this team in it. But 4 hits by the total team. Just to finish off, like I said, like Jason DeLay also over 2. Yeah. So like Kutch has a hit, Reynolds has a hit, and then Hayes had a home run.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because like 2 swings before that, I'm like, oh my God, he looks like he's never played baseball before. And then, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess he has. He's been awful. He got a hold of one. So,
and that's what kills me too. It's like we had Brian Hayes hit a home run, and that was wasted because they ended up losing because he was a quarter. Well, he was all of the offense as far as runs go. He was a quarter of the hits. But as Bucko Brett here says too, like he pulled a ball, he hit a home run. That was big. Brian needs that now.
Yeah,
he needs a
the
lot
Pirates
more.
Need that.
He needs the offense to pick up. He's been a big part of what you've suggested, right? This bottom part of this lineup not being good, which ultimately he's kind of been in the middle part of the lineup, which is part of the problem. But big home run today for Brian Hayes. Turn lane got, I think that went 382.
Yeah.
Another kind of scrape.
Yeah, also kind of hard to get. Kind of hard to get excited about. Right. Until he starts doing it, somewhat consistent. Like I don't expect him ever to be a big home run hitter, but give us 12 to 15. Right. We're back to our original conversations with him. If he could just be a league average hitter, which would still frustrate me because we've seen it. It's in there, but it's getting harder and harder to believe that we're ever going to see it. We might get streaks or stretches, and if this team was constructed properly, he'd be batting 8th or 9th, and we wouldn't be that worried about it because whatever he gave us would be a bonus. But like I said, we're batting him 5th, 4th, 6th, that sort of thing, and we need more. You just need more from those guys.
Correct. Speaking about more, and Jim asked about it, and I think it's a fair question right now because ultimately this team needs offense. Like, it has to have offense. We talked about Connor Joe, how he just can't play as much as he is being exposed. Rowdy's playing a little bit better, so again, maybe that's opportunity there.
Wait, can I interrupt you for a second? This is the second show in a row that Mark Lancaster has said somebody is on the Dougie Fresh fitness plan. Bednar and now Hayes. I'm about to get offended. I'm 100. I'm 107 years old. Yes, I'm not a multi-million-dollar professional athlete. So no, I'm not ready to go out there and strike out the ninth or crush home runs. But I expect a little more from them. Yeah. Okay, Mark. I love you, Mark. You're one of our favorite guys in the chat, but you're killing me here with the fat jokes or fitness jokes. I'm going to race you around the stadium on Saturday.
We're going to have a live boxing match for charity.
I don't want to box him, but I don't want to box him, but come on. How old are you, Mark? Wait till you turn 107.
Love it. Love it.
Take that. Back to it. I'm sorry.
So back to what I was saying here, right? So again, like when you're looking to try to find offense, right field looks like a good opportunity to maybe you can find something there. We know Jack Sawinski is struggling. He went for a pinch hit today and struck out, of course. Edward Olivares is not looking. I mean, there was a time where it's like, hey, he's looking pretty good. Let's give him more run. He got more run, and he hasn't done anything with that run, Doug, since May 22nd. And that's coming into this game where, again, he went hitless. Right. He coming into this game since May 22nd, 195 batting average, a 46 weighted runs created plus. He hasn't certainly been the answer either. So I know Jim talked about Joshua Palacios all the time. I suggested, and this is for Jack at that point in time, I suggested like maybe Matt Gorski. And since that time, Gorski, I think, is homered tonight. I think he's homered 2 times since Thursday. Is this maybe time to see, hey, you know what, Matt Gorski, come up. Let's see what you can do. Edward Olivares, maybe time for you to go down?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, at first we were saying Olivares needed more opportunity, and then Olivares kind of proved to us that maybe Shelton knew what he was doing with that one, right? The guy was brought here to crush lefties, and he has not, right? He just hasn't done it. So he doesn't offer anything else. At least with Gorski, right? You're getting a guy that can play first base, center field, corner outfield. He's athletic. If you needed to pinch run him in a situation, I mean, he's going to offer some other things, and maybe his hot streak continues, right? I don't think Gorski is any kind of answer, but we haven't. I mean, it's not like Olivares or Jack Sawinski or Michael Taylor or he doesn't have to be much better, right? If he hits 220, he's better than those 3, and he provides really good defense, and he can run. And he can also play first base. So, given that they're not doing anything else, to me, bringing up Gorski is not a terrible idea. And why not take a look?
Yeah, I like that. This kind of goes into the whole debate at the time of like, is it time for Jake Lamb over Rowdy? It's not that you think this option is good and a viable option for the future. It's just that the options that are currently existing on this team are so bad that even a bad player is improvement. So let's maybe just make that move. And this isn't I'm also not trying to say that Matt Gorski is a bad player. What I will say, though, is I'm certainly not optimistic that he's a good player. He is on a hot streak. We know the power exists. The strikeouts are a real problem. Right. I don't know if he truly translates to being a major league player. However, just as you alluded, if he's not, and he's say a 60 weighted, if he's a 40% below average player,
right,
he's no worse than what you have, and you're finding it out. Exactly. That's the thing. Like, you're going to have to find out about Matt Gorski this year a little bit as well. So maybe this is your opportunity to say, again, because he's on that hot streak, he's coming into this hot. It's in an opportune time because what you have here is not performing well, and you're in a race technically. Right, you're trying to stay afloat to the trade deadline. Maybe he can provide that spark. It's like what we talked about Nick Gonzalez. Like, I wasn't totally sure that Nick Gonzalez is going to translate either. But if anything, if he can provide a spark for just a few weeks, that can help. Clearly, he's pretty damn legit so far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we brought Nicky G up while he was hot, right? And he kept it going. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it certainly looks good. And it's, it's the same thing with Lamb. I never thought Lamb was good, but he was hot there for a while. And Rowdy was just hitting into double plays and popping up with bases loaded, nobody out. Lamb to me, was clearly a better option. He wasn't the solution. He wasn't a long-term answer. It probably wasn't a 6-week answer, but maybe, the guy's had some major league success. Maybe now I know he's gone now, but I'm talking just,
Right.
In May.
But again, we were talking about the situation, right?
Right. Yeah. He was hot. Rowdy wasn't. All you had to do was a phantom injury. I'm not saying, banish Rowdy to Siberia or anything. That's the same thing with Gorski. Bring him up for 2 or 3 weeks, send Jack down, send Olivares down, bring him up, give him some run. Like you said, he only has to have a 60 WRC plus. I mean, to be better than what we have. And what if he's an 80?
Right.
I mean, it's
right. Oh man, 20% below average. We are cooking, man.
Exactly.
Can score 2 runs.
I'm right back to my Jonathan India, Robert Stevenson thing. Hey, let's just go get some average to slightly below average players, and we'll probably score 2 more runs a game than what we're getting.
Right. But on the other side of that, I think what we're kind of missing out on too is what you did say before. Like, this guy can play center. He can play out like the outfield positions. He can play first. Like, there's some versatility with him if need be. But what I really want to hammer also is not only are the bats bad for Olivares and Jack Sawinski. However, like, I feel like Olivares, like I'm alluding to, is the gloves aren't good either. And Gorski is an absolute step up defensively. So, like, you're gaining something there from him also. You will have a better defender in right field than what you have today. What you're hopeful for is you also have a better bat. But the glove will be better. And that's what I was going to say. About the thing about Olivares, though, is we're witnessing that arm. I mean, that is a true weapon. His arm is a real legit weapon. The glove, a little more desired, but it's not terrible, I feel like, especially not what we've seen in other people. But, like, again, with Jack, though, it's not been pretty. So Gorski does improve your defense.
Right. Like I said, if he can have an OPS of 700 and then, get you some defensive runs saved or whatever, better than what they're doing. He grades out overall as a much better player.
Right.
To me, it seems like a simple solution, right? We're not sending Juan Soto down, or Prime Juan Soto.
Yep. Prime Juan Soto. Right. So again, that's pretty much the issues with the offense. Again, it didn't show up. But let's head over now. Right. We flipped it today. Let's head over onto the pitching. It starts with Bailey Falter. Bailey Falter has looked very, very, very strong this year. His past 2 outings, maybe we're seeing a little bit of the coming to the means, right? Like,
man, the regression was there.
He's not this good, right? But today he showed up. This was the vintage new Bailey Falter. He goes 7 innings, which, by the way, he could have went longer. They pulled him out to 7, which is okay with. But 80 pitches, 7 innings, very efficient outing once again, which has kind of been his MO. 2 runs allowed, based off that home run. He was hit hard, minimized damage. Again, this was like the vintage Bailey Falter of 2024 that I've been seeing, which has allowed him to be a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's been an outstanding number 4, right? I mean, his ERA is 3.74? I mean, he'd have been the best pitcher on the team last year. Actually, that would have been the best on the team last year, right? So,
he is the ace by far last year.
Yeah. So now we've got these, wonderkins and Mitch Keller pitching well. He's just gravy, right? We weren't expecting it. He's been pretty consistent. He's had a couple of down outings, but he seems to, bounce back a little bit. I'm fine with him going out there every 5th day. I feel pretty good about it. I mean, he induced 3 double plays today, which is not what, he's more of a fly ball pitcher, but he got the, he'd give up the hit, the walk, hit the double play. It was good. I don't think he's at his best yet. Right. I know it, like, he's still a young starter, as far as major league experience, he can get, I don't know if he can get better, but he can probably become a little more consistent. And, I'm on board. I'm on board with Bailey Falter at this point. I mean, we're with June 18th now, right? I know Tyler keeps waiting for, him to turn into a pumpkin, and we've seen some of it.
Right.
Every time he has a little mini slump or something, he comes back out with another one of these gems.
I guess what I'm hung up on is like when you said he's not his best, and like theoretically, he's still young. There's still development.
That's probably my internet, but I can't hear you.
Oh, can you guys not hear me? I'm gonna keep talking. If I can't be heard, let me know. But what I was gonna say is, like as far as development goes, I can understand how like there's still time to go for him to improve and such. Like he's not at his best. But I'm also looking at like this is Bailey Falter with a 3.74 ERA. I kind of feel like this is his best. So yeah, I don't know. But at any rate, as I'm talking here, and I think you're saying, like, I just want to watch and continue this. If and when it falls off, then it falls off. But at this point in time, it's like the Connor Joe thing. Like at this point in time, we're riding it out until you show me, okay, you know what? This is who you are. And at this point in time, he's the Pirates number 4. But just like you said, this was last year, he's their best pitcher. And a lot of teams, I mean, like the 2024 Miami Marlins would kill to have Bailey Falter on their team right now as like their ace. That's what we're talking about. So yeah, like with Bailey Falter, he pitched outstanding today. Well, I'm not gonna say outstanding. He pitched typical Bailey Falter. A lot of hard hits, 10 hard hit balls today. But when he needed a double play, he got the double play. He had the curveball working today as well. Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear any of that, but I'm sure those were wonderful, brilliant points.
We got you back.
I agree wholeheartedly. And no, my AirPods did not die.
But yeah, like this was another, like this is a very nice, I'll say, bounce back start from
check
Bailey
everything
Falter.
is supposedly working.
Because again, he was a guy that gave you innings. His past 2 starts went back to back with 4 inning outings, giving up 5 earned runs, 3 earned runs. And again, like this isn't a Cincinnati Reds team to just laugh at. We know this offense, especially Ellie De La Cruz. And Doug, what did Falter do to Ellie De La Cruz?
I need closed captioning.
He struck him out twice.
Falter was great. Majinski was fine. And then even Dennis Santos. That's all I got on the pitching.
There you go. Doug, can you hear me though?
And we got Mitch Keller pitching tomorrow.
Take that as a no. Well, then let's do this, Doug. I am going to wrap up the show because everyone can hear us. However, you can't hear me. That pretty much wraps up everything anyways. I mean, Carmen Majinski did come in, as you mentioned. He goes another scoreless. I think it's 12.2 innings pitched now, where he's allowed just 1 earned run in that time. He's looking every bit of the reliever you're hoping for, right? Just as we talked the last time we were together. But I think that's it. So I'm going to wave to you and say, we're done. I'm going to wrap up the show. All right,
anybody
everyone.
know American Sign Language? My name.
Let's get out of here. I appreciate y'all for watching. Again, like, subscribe.
Thank you, guys. Mark Lancaster, I'm coming after you.
Doug's coming at. Yeah, Doug's coming at you.
I hope you're at
tailgate.
I hope you're at the tailgate, Mark.
There it is. There's the plug. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Now when he kicks my ass, I'm going to say, "Oh, I didn't think anyone could hear that."
This is just a great epitome of what we saw today. We're out of here. Bye-bye.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.